Yo, what's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to share with you the number one lesson that I learned from two of my companies failing in the past that I've carried on to my current company that we've already used to implement to get to 7 figures in our first 12 months of running this consulting company. So if you're new here, my name is Justin Saunders. I run a company called Authority Income Accelerator, where we help coaches and consultants scale using some of our proven methods that we've developed over the past years. And a lot of it came from the failing strategies. And that's what I really want to talk about and give you some examples of. The first company that I ever actually started that was making good money was an advertising company called New Age Media. And I'll tell you the key factors of what I've learned from this later on in this video, but I wanted to give you the background first and why I ended these companies, to be frank with you. So if we rewind back to 2018, I started a advertising company. And in this advertising company, our positioning, the way we wanted to grow, was always to get more clients and make more money. That was always our thing. We always cared about what that number at the end of the month said. At the time, we weren't really paying attention to what the actual profit was saying, right? Like the team members, we had a big team, we were overpaying everybody, and it all crashed and crumbled because of not knowing our actual numbers inside the business. And I see this as a really big mistake with a lot of up and coming business owners, is they don't actually know their numbers. And this goes into your KPIs. This goes into your profit margins. This goes into your accounting numbers. These are the biggest things that hold entrepreneurs back from seeing success and actually making big impact in their business, because we're all taught that, hey, to scale a business, you just need more clients and you just need more cash, which in reality, that can be correct. But if you're operating on a way that is not going to be scalable, if you try scaling it, the whole thing's going to crash and crumble. And that's what happened to me. I had an advertising agency, and we did over 7 figures cash collected in that advertising agency. To give you a little background, we started off working with chiropractors, then moved into stem cell clinics, and then COVID happened. And then after that, we shifted into solar. And I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I think we did a little over like 1.5, close to 2 million inside that advertising company. But what happened was we had a big team and we weren't paying attention to the actual numbers that were coming through. At the end of the day, I could blame other people. I can blame the bookkeeper and accounting that we had for this company that were saying, oh, you're very profitable, but they were missing some big components that weren't actually accurate. But at the end of the day, it's really my fault because, I was the leader of this company. These are things I should have figured out. What happened was the whole business, one month, just the way the business was actually running, was the way that was profitable was we would continue to get more clients and then use those funds from those clients to fund the clients from the previous month, because we were overpaying the team members, including ourselves, and we weren't managing cash flow correctly. And if I had to look back on it, the same thing goes with our cost per acquisition and everything. Is like we weren't actually 100% accurate on our numbers. And I learned this later on, right before the business actually kind of went down, was we were just trying to every single day, just hoping and relying, hey, let's run some ads, let's get some clients. We see $2,000, $4,000 payments from these clients coming in reoccurring. It's like mentally we're like, all right, we're good. But what really happened was we weren't profitable. And that's what we tried scaling, was an unprofitable business. And a lot of people make this mistake, is either one, they're not profitable when they try to scale, which ends up becoming the biggest clusterfuck you could even imagine. And number two is they don't actually have a business built for scale. And that's the biggest thing that I've taken from my other businesses that have failed in the past, is to actually build your business, one, so it's scalable, but two, so you can see exactly what is going on in the business. And all this comes down to knowing your KPIs. If you are running a business right now and you don't know your cost per acquisition, your cost per booked appointment, your retention rate, your profit margins, and that's just like the cream of the crop. There's so many more. If you don't know anything like that, that is the most important thing you can do inside your business right now to ensure that it grows the right way. Because it's one of those things on social media. I see it all the time, and I know some people that do this. They go on social media and advertise, hey, I'm running a $500,000 a month business with 80% profit margins, but I'm also spending tons and tons of money on ads. It's not real. So be careful with what you actually hear online. People that are telling you that they're running an 80% profit margin business in the consulting or e-commerce or advertising business, ask them to show you, because I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying it's very, very difficult to do those type of things, especially when you have a full team. Because Think about it. If you have a team, typically your margin on that, you're paying your team around roughly 20% of what comes through. And then you have another roughly 20% that you go into paid ads. Then you have software expenses that are usually around like 3 to 5% and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like when people tell you that they have a 30-person company and they're doing 80% profit margins, call out bullshit right away, because unless they're doing 100% organic, chances are it's very unlikely. That's why I want to come on here and say is like not to throw shade at other people, but also to make sure you understand what's realistic and what's realistic for your business. And it all comes down to actually understanding your KPIs. So the best thing you can do right now is go into get some sort of tracking in play. For my company, we provide our clients with all custom KPI tracking sheets that we've created. But if you don't have that, or you don't want to sign up for a software or anything, you just want to keep it simple, the best thing you can do is just go into Google Sheets and start creating a Google Sheet where you track stuff. And the thing you got to keep in mind, if you're new to KPI tracking, it's something that you're not going to like right away. It's something that you're going to treat like a living, breathing form, meaning that you're always going to add to it. And I think that's really what it comes down to is, there's a lot of key components to growing a business, but even where we're at inside my business right now, we're hitting record months and we're growing straight now. Right? At the beginning of the year, it was we were growing straight and then we hit some roadblocks and this, but now we're growing straight. And the reason we're growing straight is because I know exactly what levers to pull inside the business. And the only reason I know this is because I've documented every single tracking metric from the start of this company. So I can go back from when we first started this company and tell you on month 1 what our cost per acquisition was. I can tell you what our cost per lead was, or cost per message. That's the main thing we do. I can tell you what our cost per booked appointment was. And then now I can go through from when we started this company to now and tell you the exact average of everything. So let's say hypothetically, if this was your company and you had 12 months worth of data, and on average it told you it cost you $600 to acquire a client, and you know that on average you collect $5,000. Well, that means every time you spend $600, you're making $5K. So those are metrics that you need to know. And again, that might not be realistic for you. It might be. We have some clients that are doing numbers way better than that. We have some clients that are doing numbers way lower than that. Point being is everyone's business is different. And when you know these numbers, the way you scale it correctly is you don't have to just bring on new team members to bring on new team members. You grow the business based off the KPIs, and then you start optimizing based off the KPIs. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. Back in November, we tried scaling, bringing on multiple other closers and setters inside my company because, I looked at my closers calendar and it was completely full for a week out. A week and a half out. And it's like, all right, well, based off this, I need to bring on more closers so I can just up ad spend and get more opportunities. Problem was it crashed and crumbled. It stopped working because the real problem wasn't that we needed another closer, another 2 closers I actually brought on, or another setter. The bigger problem was I needed to scale what was already working. So at the time, our no-show rate was about a 50%. And for me, I tried scaling that, and then I had closers that just had calendar space open and empty, and it became something that just wasn't working and wasn't scalable. It was actually one of the months where I actually lost money inside my business. And then I went back to the drawing board to really figure out what the issue was. And I realized that the bigger problem was I just needed to focus on scaling by increasing our show up rate. So we actually went from a 50 to a 75% show up rate because of small things that we implemented inside the business. And guess what? Now we're running into the same issue where my closers calendar is backed out to the next week, but they're all super quality people that are 100% committed to showing up. Now, obviously life happens, things happen. That's why 75% show rate I'll take, because we're booking people out a week in advance. I'm saying this because now I know how to scale this the right way. And I see this happen with a lot of other business owners. They try scaling just based off what they see rather than what the actual data tells them. Because if you try scaling something and you have a 40 to 50% show rate and maybe you have a 10% close rate, you can't scale that. You need to scale what's internal first. Meaning if your close rate's at 10%, you need to get that up to a 20 to a 30%, because that automatically is going to scale your cash flow just from a small little tweak like that, which would be less money that you'd have to be spending on ads or whatever, less time to acquire new clients. And at the end of the day, I can say without certainty, the business owners that are hitting the biggest numbers and having continual growth are the ones that are every single day tracking their KPIs and looking at them and making decisions based off of logic rather than emotion. The biggest mistake most 6-figure entrepreneurs make is they make their decisions based off of emotion and then just don't have any sort of trackable data to make the logical decision. So if you want to go from 6 figures to 7 figures and have a predictable way, I would challenge you to get some sort of tracking into play so that you can make the right decisions to take your business to the right level.